Mr. Brock, you've got 2.5 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chair. Well, in typical Liberal fashion, they often love to blame previous administrations. Notwithstanding the fact they've been in government for almost 9 years, they can never accept their own failings. So thinking back on the evidence that I've heard, both organizations have had this device and software for almost 11 years now. And I would think within that time frame, a question to both entities, you've probably conducted hundreds, if not thousands, of investigations using the device and software. Is that fair to say, sir, Mr. Walker?
While it is true that we have conducted a large number of investigations, only 45 of these have used, in the past 11 years, have used the computer forensics tools that we're discussing.
Mr. Napier, good to see you again. Your response?
Always a pleasure, sir. I couldn't give you an exact number, but I know over the last number of years it's been about 50 cases per year.
And you also understand that the directive by the Treasury Board was not optional. A directive means it must be done. You've confirmed to Madame Bureau of the CBC that notwithstanding her investigation, which was a great investigation because we wouldn't even know about this. Canadians wouldn't know about this. Parliamentarians wouldn't know about this, but for the good actions by Professor Light and the CBC to uncover this scandal. You've confirmed with her that you've never used a PIA on any of those investigations you've identified. Is that correct?
So for the tools.
For the tools.
There's a process level PIA, and then there's the tools themselves. So there's a differentiation.
And you confirmed that you never used a PIA.
We have PIAs for the larger program,
right? But
we haven't adapted it.
Okay. And Mr. Walker, no PIAs as well, correct?
It is correct that we have not had a privacy impact assessment for the use of this tool.
Okay. And you know that Celebrite, one of the manufacturers of this software, makes it abundantly clear that it must be used with the consent of the person that you are surveilling. Okay, you may be opposed to the concept of spyware, but that's exactly what you're doing. You are spying on Canadians and or spying on your employees. So I'd like to hear from you very, very quickly from Mr. Napier and Mr. Walker. What is your definition of consent?
It's got to be really quick, please, both of you.
Court-ordered consent, or it could be a witness who provides some form of electronic device. And even in those cases, we still seek a court order to access them.
Mr. Walker?
Based on our procurement from the manufacturer, it requires consent or a court order, and we would only operate under a court order. Once we have moved from an inspection into an investigation, we would not necessarily ask a regulatee to provide information that would be self-incriminating.
That's it.
Voluntarily.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Ms. Khalid, I'm going to give you a little extra than 2:30, so go ahead, please.
I do appreciate that, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Two questions for each of you. The first is, under what circumstances did you acquire this forensic technology 10 years ago under Stephen Harper's government?
At the time that and I will pass it to my colleague shortly, at the time that we procured it in 2013, the circumstances were that many of our regulatees had moved from paper storage of documents into electronic storage of documents, which meant that in order to retrieve the information that we might get out of a filing cabinet in previous times, we actually needed to gain access to electronic devices to develop the evidence necessary to pursue the investigation.